Welcome to One Thought at a Time with Ian Travers, where we get curious about what makes people tick. We're here today with an absolute master of his craft. Welcome, George Crombie.
Thanks very much for having us on.
So, George, let's get things rolling today with tell us what you do.
So currently I'm engineering director at Briggs & Burton. Briggs is a company that builds distilleries and breweries across the world. My role in that company is to, as a leader of that company, is to manage all of the projects and all of the engineering activities we do. So that can be anywhere in the world across brewing, distilling, food or pharmaceutical projects. We've got operations in UK, US, doing some big projects in Mexico as well.
And a growth industry, I would think, at the minute.
Yeah, so it's growing. Well, certainly our business is growing rapidly at the moment off the back of some very successful clients. So we, as a company, have grown significantly in the last 5 years from about a £20 million company. Hopefully this year is going to be in the order of £90 million. So significant growth comes with a lot of challenges, growth of people, development of those people, including myself and the others within our leadership team throughout the business.
Okay, great. So that's great to be part of a growing and successful business and an interesting industry as well. But let's go back. So how did you get there? You know, how did you end up doing what you do now?
So it all started from where my dad was actually in his position. So he was chief engineer of Green King Brewery in Bury St Edmunds. So as a child, I used to spend quite a lot of time with him, going into the brewery, watching big crane lifts and things like that when they were doing some of their projects. So taking my interest as well alongside that. So I used to take bikes apart, maintain bikes, used to do a lot of woodwork as well at home and things like that. All of that came together into a general interest around the way things work and engineering. That then resulted in me going to university, studying mechanical engineering, and led into working for Briggs on a summer placement and developing through there. So started there as a project engineer, went through all of the site management, working away, doing projects in very remote locations, which learnt a lot, developed me a lot, made me perhaps who I am today, and worked my way through from there.
So when you were going right back to those early interests in engineering, and what kind of did you sort of make stuff? You know, taking stuff apart. What kind of stuff did you get involved in doing in those early days?
It was a lot around. I used to be really keen, sort of mountain biker and things like that. So around there, I was, even if it didn't need doing, I was still taking my bike apart and taking all the hubs apart, but greasing the bearings, putting it back together, just for something to do really, just out of general interest, just understanding what can be done. And taking it apart like that. So.
And do you still mountain bike now?
No, I actually do a lot of road cycling now instead. So
Okay.
I've switched disciplines, much to a lot of people's disgust. But so I do that, a bit more easier to fit in. You can go straight from home for that. Get home from work. Great to be able to just get out on the bike, relax, forget about everything. So
we'll come back to that about the getting out and relaxing. Do you still take the bikes apart?
No, not really. I get more frustrated than they don't.
Okay, so that environment there, was it sort of engineering was around you? Was that really what was going on with your dad as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it's engineering and crafting things has always been around. So always with my dad, we had a workshop at home, so he was always making furniture, things like that. So I would get involved with that.
Yeah.
We also used to renovate quite a few houses. So my parents had always done that. Always bought a house, done it up, moved to the next one. We did that with a student house when I was at university.
Right.
So that worked well. And then as soon as I left university, did that with my first house. All of the work being done between my dad and me, with others helping along the way, and then did a series of, I think we're on our fifth house at the moment, and it's just something that I've got a lot of pleasure out of, seeing something that's just in complete wreck when you buy it to something that's sort of a showpiece at the end of it. So.
Talk a little bit about that. This when you do get involved, whether it was bike fixing and now property renovation as well. About, does it have to be right?
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me a bit more about that.
So especially when you're taking something that's a wreck, when you start taking it apart, you start realizing all the things that other people have done to get it to look look like it was, all the bodges that have been put in there. And it's just really interesting, just stripping it back, understanding how it's been put together, and then putting it back together in the right way to something that actually gives effectively the right performance out of it. So putting in the right technology into the house from day one, things like that, putting in the right heating systems, things. It's just interesting working out how to do it, getting the design right, moving all the rooms around to meet all the different needs of how you think that house needs to be. So,
And what's the sense of satisfaction?
Just seeing the end product, getting to use it. Obviously, there's a bit of profit in there as well when you do it. You're not doing it just for just for fun.
Yeah.
But the satisfaction of seeing it finished, and moving on to something else, something new.
So talking about this, you're saying that the thing about it is it's so tangible. So tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah, for me, it's the fact that when you can go into a supermarket with the projects that we're doing, you can see all the products that have been produced. So whether it's the latest tequila that we've done built a distillery for, whether it's the real ale on the shelf there in its bottle, you can see it, you can enjoy it, you can speak to your family and friends about it, you can be at the pub speaking to the guy at the bar about it. It's that brings a sense of satisfaction compared to some other industries. I just don't think they'll get that same satisfaction.
So there's a real connect to, and does that percolate through the business as well? This, when people recognising, hang on a minute, we were part of making that. Does that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, yeah. So the engineers in our team, they get a huge satisfaction out of doing the actual project and seeing something from being a field turning into a distillery or something, but knowing that they can then celebrate at the end of that and celebrate as a group. There is something very social about what we do, and the product is there for people to socialise around. So it's no wonder it brings people together and gives that sense of satisfaction from that social element.
Do you think is there anything you've learnt? If you think around the impact that has when someone is really bought into and engaged and proud about an output, is there anything that you think other businesses could learn about how you get people engaged about the end product or service?
So I think our ethos is about people having to enjoy what we're doing. We want people to enjoy the journey, whether that's enjoy the journey of building the plant and designing the plant, or whether it's enjoying what comes out of it. It is key to it, and we want people to be able to have fun doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
If you enjoy doing what you're doing, you do your best at it.
Yeah.
And you are going to deliver something that's great for the customer. You're going to come across in front of the customer as interested in what they're doing. And actually that matters a lot, and that's where you get that extra sort of 10% on the project, on the quality of what's built.
You mentioned a word there as well, fun, which is something that isn't often mentioned in the same sentence as business. To talk about the sense of fun and enjoyment.
So for me, having done a lot of site work and things like that, everyone's working away from home when we're doing that. So a really great example is when we can have the toughest of days commissioning a plant. It may have gone completely wrong during the day, and I can think of examples over the year where there's been tons of chocolate on the molten chocolate solidifying on a floor. Those things have happened and do happen and continue to happen. But you then want to be able to step away from that with those same colleagues, friends, and socialise with them, have a sense of fun, look back at what you've done, and you learn a lot more from it there, and you're ready to go again the next day because you're having a bit of fun around it. You don't not if you're too serious about things, you're never going to be able to make it through some of the crises and things.
That's brilliant, and particularly over the last couple of years, I would think as well.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. It's been a tough couple of years on it, doing international projects.
Yeah,
that's for sure, and getting people into the right place, coping with COVID and lockdowns and people getting stuck in various places. It's definitely been a challenge.
Yeah, but still smiling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still smiling. Yeah. Just going back to again thinking about the whole journey through and pride, sense of pride. How does that manifest in you, that sense of pride? What makes you feel proud?
I think for me it's about delivering something that you've promised as part of it. So even when I go back to university or school, I was always been involved as a whitewater kayaker, running clubs and things like that, and I've always tried to get into a position where I can really help those clubs develop. And I've always promised to do things when we've in those roles, whether it be buying a new fleet of kayaks, things like that, getting training right, or going on the right trips with people and things. And the pride is then being able to deliver all of those things, and that goes over into work as well. That if we've said we're going to do something, I've said I'm going to do something, then I want to make sure that that happens. Sometimes there's bumps in the road on that, obviously.
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah.
But eventually delivering what we said we're going to deliver.
Yeah. And do you find that sense of passion or pride rubs off on those around you?
Yeah, and I think you take people with you. If you're interested in what you're doing, you're proud about what you're doing, people will follow you on that journey. And I think you add a bit of fun into there as well, and interest, then people are hooked from that. And that's how you can take people on a journey to deliver what you want to do. And I think that always helps.
On this, striving towards a product being the best it can be, and an excellent product and fit for purpose. If you just think about your career journey, have you felt that has also washed over into how you have inspired yourself to progress your career as well? Is there a parallel here between excellence in product and excellence in what you do?
I've always put myself forward to be the best I can at things, but to a certain level that will get me where I want to be with a certain project.
Right. So
I am the fellow of Institute of Mechanical Engineers, for example. So that was this goal I'd set myself to get there. So I could say, yeah, okay, I've got to where I need to be as a mechanical engineer.
Do you find that you have to? Is there a time when you want to switch off from that and effectively recharge from that drive to excellence all the time, or does it just come naturally? So
in terms of switching, I'm not someone who likes to switch off. Right. So I always have to be doing something. I'm not someone who can sit around at home or anything like that. So I'm always either we're out as a family, walking, doing activities together, even if it's just the kids clubs and things like that. But that again is a different drive that allows me to switch off. So allowing them to do the things that they want to do, get a lot of satisfaction out of that now as well. But other activities I do for myself as well. So still carry on with cycling and things, and it's just a great release from work, really. So and other things.
And when you're doing that, are you doing that? Are you competing with yourself, or are you doing it for the experience? What's the driver when you do that, do you think?
For me now, it's about having fun again.
Right.
It's not about competing with anyone else. I certainly don't enter any competitions anymore. It's might use Strava or something like that to see how fast I go along a particular section of road or something, or how long I take to do a certain ride. But that's about the limit of it.
It's about having fun.
Yeah, about having fun. And then some of the other activities, my kids grow up, it's about bringing them along so they can experience that. So I've just started introducing my eldest into kayaking, for example. So that's great to be able to bring him on that journey and teach him some of the things that I've done. So hopefully he can have an opportunity to enjoy some of the things I've had and have a hobby that allows you to, again, socialise with people and go on holidays. You get a lot out of that, doing that as a group.
I wonder, if I think about your journey all the way through, from the conversation we've just had as well, there doesn't seem to be any hint anywhere that you had any doubt in that you would achieve what you wanted to achieve. And I'm just wondering about sense of self-belief and how that's featured on your journey through.
Yeah, I've always been someone, I always believe that if you choose to do something, you can do it and you'll get there. So whatever goal it is you set yourself, as long as you have a clear idea of what you want to get out of that, then you will get there if you believe in yourself to get there.
So looking into the future, and you can answer this if you like as Briggs Macmillan. What's next? What does the future hold? What will you be proud of next?
So for me now, for Briggs and Macmillan, it's about the growth. We've got a really clear plan of how we want to grow and how we want to grow the company across multiple continents. and multiple industries. It's about making that happen and bringing our team along that journey with us. We can't do it without the people who work with us. That's just so important, getting them into the same position that they believe in themselves and believe in what we do, which is going to deliver us better results and better projects.
It's really, really powerful, that, isn't it? This thing about, this desire and belief as well. If someone was listening to this and they were working for a company at the minute who was going on a growth journey, maybe a bumpy one, what do you think? What would you say to them that are lessons that you've learned over the recent years with the journey at Briggs? What would you encourage them to do with their team and their people?
I think you've got to stop trying to do it yourself. So we fell into that, or I certainly fell into that trap at the start, is that I need to be involved in everything. I need to make that decision. I need to hold that person's hand to get through that particular problem. And it's not about that. You've got to trust people to do what they do. They're the people who have the information. They're the people who can make those decisions. And as we grow, that just has to happen. And we can no longer be there for everyone to make that happen. And people need to be trusted to do what they can. And that's working for us. And they're delivering, because they've got that empowerment, they are delivering better projects because of it.
And do you think your prospective customers see that in your business as well? Do you think that percolates again through? Do people see that from the outside in?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that the people we've got on projects, leading projects, they have absolute pride in what they do, and that comes through in all of their dealings, whatever problem it is they might be facing. Projects generally have problems and bumps in the road, and we're reliant on our teams to get through those. And when you see them in action, communicating with clients, they have absolute passion about what they're doing. And that helps explain and get through these challenges.
Brilliant. So a bright future for the business then, with a lot of pride and passion to energise it on the way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's going well at the moment and looks like it's going to continue. So fingers crossed. So
I'll ask you one last question, really, which I ask everyone who joins us on the sofa here, and that is, if we could master time travel. And knowing what you know now about you and the business and the world, if you could write yourself a note and leave it in an envelope somewhere for you to find as your earlier career self, what do you think you might write in it?
That's a good question. So I think you had made a point in your question, really. It's about knowledge. If you had your knowledge that you had today. So for me, it would be to, when I was younger, to be more open and to collect more knowledge at that point and bring more knowledge in, absorb more knowledge, be that knowledge sponge, because that's what allows you to solve problems later on.
Brilliant. I like that, being a knowledge sponge. Yeah. I think that's great. Brilliant. George, thanks ever so much for taking the time out to come and talk to us on the sofa today. Thank you very much.
No, thank you. It's been great.
So this has been One Thought at a Time with Ian Travers and George Crombie this week. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please like or subscribe. If you are interested to reach out to myself or to George, you'll find contacts going along with the comments on this podcast. So we look forward to having you join us next time. Thanks very much.